Hello, nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Weekend Nerdom Supplemental Edition for the first week of May, also known as the week of April 30th, 2018. For those of you that don't know, the supplemental video is the one where we kind of catch everything that doesn't fit in the other categories. And if should we have a category that doesn't have enough to warrant a full video, it goes here in the supplemental. So let's hit up the intro real quick and we can get into the news.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
First on our list for supplemental news is actually one, because there's technically 7 Weekend Nerdom videos every week. I rarely do the 7th one because I don't have a great source for book news, but this one is such a big news bit that it got put out in a number of different sources that I go to, so we can cover it. So here is your books section for probably the month. Song of Fire and Ice. George R.R. Martin is putting out another book for Song of Fire and Ice. It is not going to be Winds of Winter. That one's still in the works. Don't lynch me. That one is definitely still in the works, but it's not coming out this year. It might come out next year, but the one that's coming out this year is called Fire and Blood. It's going to be an anthology-style collection of short stories that deal with the Targaryens. Actually, to be specific, it's dealing with the Targaryen kings from Aegon I to the regency of Aegon III, or Aegon the Dragonbane. So we're going to get some short stories dealing with the world of the Targaryens. We're going to see a lot more of the Targaryen family tree. It's only going to be like 650 pages, so it's going to be a short one for Martin, but still longer than most of the nonfiction you read. And I'm sure he did this just to upset the fans. This is like when Patrick Rothfuss put out the book for Ari, the Slow Regard of Silent Things. Yeah, because we still got no Kingkiller book number 3 on the horizon just yet, even though he claims it's on the way. Anyway, so the Winds of Winter is still coming, just not this year. That's all he has said about it. So the possibility exists we'll get it in 2019, but I don't know how likely that possibility is to coming to fruition. So that's our books bit. Now we're going to get into all of the really super nerdy stuff with the supplemental. And first is a little bit of a comedy bit. I'm not even going to lie. It's Flat Earthers held a convention last weekend while I was at Starfest. Held a convention in Birmingham, England, to talk about how the Earth is flat and all of their scientific evidence that some guy, one of them, did in his backyard. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing about this that really saddens me is there's going to be an international convention for Flat Earthers. And guess where they're going to be holding this international convention for the Flat Earthers? Right here in my home state of Colorado. It's going to be in Denver in November. They're going to hold this Flat Earth convention, and oh man, it's science, and we're moving on. Next on our list is actually really, really interesting. It's super freaking nerdy, so if you don't have your nerd hat on yet, put that bad boy on, because we're about to get a little molecular. So, Graphene, scientists have recently, so let's get into what graphene is first. Graphene is kind of the cousin of graphite. It is the strongest material ever tested, and it is so thin, it is 1 molecule thick, so thin they refer to it as a 2-dimensional material. But again, the strongest material we've ever tested, so very interesting combination. They've been finding out all kinds of wonderful things to do with graphene, and in recent experiments, I wish I could have found where, which scientists it was that did this, but there was recently an experiment where they were trying to agitate graphene molecules, and in so doing, they accidentally discovered that they can fit light into the space of a single molecule, less than a nanometer, which is very significant because that is supposed to be physically impossible. Why is that? Because light waves travel at a distance of anywhere from 400 to 750 nanometers, and because the wave itself takes up minimum of 400 nanometers, it should technically be physically impossible to fit it into a smaller space than it actually exists in. So they can fit it into less than a nanometer. They can fit it into a molecule. So what does this mean? Why is this significant? Why is this so cool? Because what is data? How is data processed? Data is processed through electronical impulses and effectively through transfers of a form of light, which means transfer and storage rates are going to shoot through the roof as soon as graphene becomes more readily available and easier to create, which it looks like they're on the way to getting this kind of stuff done. So it's incredible. We're gonna see flying, like, this is the kind of technology, this is the kind of stuff that is going to lead us into the next step in our I don't want to say evolution necessarily, but like the evolution of our society. This is going to take us into something beyond the digital age. We're going to get into something beyond the space age. This is the kind of stuff that will one day lead to flying cars. As ridiculous as that sounds, that's exactly the kind of stuff that is going to potentially happen. So that's insanely cool. Next, we have a little bit about art and computers and AI, because we talk a lot about artificial intelligence on Generally Nerdy, and this is kind of a combination of so many things. So there is a high school student, actually he just recently graduated high school, he's only 18, kid named Robbie Barrett. Link to his Twitter is in the description, and this is significant because this kid is now working. He's working at some lab dealing with AI, dealing with learning machines. But the bit that we're talking about is his art, and it's not even technically his art. This art was created with an artificial intelligence. So it's a GAN, a GAN. So GANs are a class of artificial intelligence algorithms used in unsupervised machine learning. The way it works is it pits two different computer systems against each other. A generator and a discriminator. They're pitted against each other to achieve one specific goal. And in this case, that one specific goal, they're also using GANs in video game artificial intelligence. They're trying to implement not just the intelligence of your opponents, but the intelligence of the level design, so that it can be a dynamic difficulty level, so that as you get better, the game senses that and gets harder. Again, this kid, Robbie Barrett, programmed this AI to do paintings. And at first he did landscapes, and the landscapes are actually really cool looking, like could potentially pass as as high art. Any of this actually could pass as freaking high art because art is in the eye of the beholder, right? So he first started doing landscapes, and then he started teaching the AI what artistic nude paintings were. And then he started getting very interesting paintings from this AI. They don't look like people, but this is how the AI interprets artistic nude art. And it's bizarre. It's surreal. It's kind of creepy at times, but it's really cool. So, yeah, just AI is doing crazy things right now. So that's that bit. Next, we have a little bit of a follow-up to our TV news episode earlier this week. DC has announced, Warner Brothers rather, has announced the name of their streaming app is going to be called DC Universe. This is the app that's going to bring us Titans and the Harley Quinn animated show. Also announced this week for the app is a Swamp Thing series that is going to be co-written by Mark Verheiden, who was a writer on Battlestar Galactica and Daredevil on Netflix, and also written and showran by Gary Doberman, who wrote the It movies. Yeah, that's... So, also attached to this project is James Wan to be an executive producer. James Wan, for those of you that don't know, is doing Aquaman and also did some Fast and Furious stuff and other things. But he's the guy in charge of Aquaman right now. And was also attached for a moment to do the reboot Mortal Kombat movie. So there's some big names attached to this Thing series. And it looks like once the DC Universe app comes out, once they launch it, which there's still no date for that, though we do know it's going to be sometime this year, we're going to have a lot of great content coming with it. And then, to round off this week's supplemental video, we have some stuff from all over the YouTubes, like we do. Honest Trailers did an Honest Trailer for Honest Trailers, but again, this is written by an artificial intelligence. The script for this, what they did is they fed it the last, I don't know, maybe it was all of their scripts, they didn't specify. So they taught it the scripts from previous videos and then set it to write a script for them. And they even went so far as to have the AI write the tweets at the end of the video for the Epic Voice Guy to say. And like, it sounds, if you're just passively listening to it, the episode sounds like he's actually saying something, but if you pay attention to the words that he's using, it's just gibberish. It's just word vomit, and it's hilarious the way they interpreted what the AI... So what they did was they had the AI write the script, and then they tried to fit scenes from actual movies to go with what the words are that are being said at certain points. Watch it, it's great, link in the description. Next, because we've been gone for 2 weeks, we have a couple of Hot Ones episodes. John Mayer was this week, and Alton Brown was last week. Both excellent videos. John Mayer talking music, talks a little bit so that non-musical types can appreciate kind of the process of what it is to write and music theory and things like that. So that one was great. And then Alton Brown is just a great chef, and the guy has an incredible palate. It was picking apart the ingredients of the hot sauces and just the stuff coming out with Alton Brown. Check it out. Again, link for both of them is in the description. Hot Ones, I am a new convert to that show, but it is definitely worth your time. It is one of the best interview shows ever. Better than anything you've probably seen on YouTube as far as interview shows go. And I'm totally not even using my show. I'm not that biased that my stuff's that good. But yeah. So, again, links in the description. I just can't say enough great stuff about Hot Ones. Next, though, we got a new video last week from Nerdwriter. It's Lauryn Hill, 20 Years of Relevance. Link in the description. Now, this one is a little different from his usual stuff. Usually, Nerdwriter does a video essay, meaning he scripts out what he wants to say, what he wants to teach you, how he wants to deconstruct your world, that kind of stuff. This time, though, it's not really, it's still kind of an essay, but there's no voiceover. It's him using clips that deal with the content that Lauryn Hill has been a part of, or been influenced by, or influenced. He uses that to tell the story, and it's brilliant. It's a challenge to the form of the video essay, and the man just can do no wrong. Check out Nerdwriter. Link to that video is in the description. And then our last bit actually happened just this morning, so probably shouldn't put it in this week's supplemental, but it's going here, and we can talk about if something great happens over on Frog Leap Studios next week. So Frog Leap Studios put out the Bittersweet Symphony metal cover, and Leo Moracchioli, that dude is a musical genius. The cat just can make anything a groovy metal tune, and I appreciate it. He's great, and he's a goofball. And if you have any sort of appreciation for the heavy stuff, or even poppy stuff, and you just want to hear a different take on a pop tune that you love, go check him out, because even though it is technically metal, it's easily approachable and digestible kind of metal. So check it out. Link in the description. That kills our supplemental video for the week, guys. What did I miss all across this nerddom? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, jump over to the website. GenerallyNerdy.net is the place you can do that. There's links to the stores, links to the social medias, all kinds of other freebies actually up on the website, so go check it out, generallynerdy.net. Or if you want to support the channel more directly, there's a Patreon page. Patreon.com/generallynerdy is the place you can go do that. It's broken down up on the Patreon, you know, what the different tiers are, what you get on each tier, so on and so forth. So check it out. Generally Nerdy on Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy. If you are falling behind, though, on your nerd news and you want to catch up, click or tap to one of those boxes right there to the left of my face to do that. But before we go check out websites and click buttons and so on and so forth, guys, one thing, always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.